So my youngest son Noah is a big fan of Marvel, the Marvel movie franchise. So those are all those superhero movies of the Hulk and Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Captain America and all those things. Anyway, we've seen all the movies. There's like 20 something movies. We've seen them all except for Deadpool. That one's like not at all appropriate for kids. I don't know why it's part of that franchise actually, because it is so much of an outlier. But anyway, we've seen all the movies and we've seen them so many times, especially with lockdown. You know, we're watching 3 or 4 movies a week, and honestly, I just can't bear to watch another one. You know, most of them are good movies. You know, especially the Guardians of the Galaxy ones I really like. But I just simply can't watch them again because I've seen them too many times. So we've actually switched over from Marvel into DC. So DC is like that rival comic book universe. So we're dabbling in the dark side right now. We've been watching the Batman movies. So the series of movies that have Christian Bale in them, and we're on. I think it's the second one. I'm not sure if we're watching them in order or not, but it's The Dark Knight. Now, I'm not here to plug the movie. I don't really care whether you see the movie or not, but as I was watching it, there were some very interesting themes that came out that really made me pause and think a little bit. Now, I think the movie itself is about 15 years old. I know I saw it years and years and years ago, but I haven't seen it since. And I do believe that Heath Ledger, he won some like Oscars or Grammys or something. Like he got some awards for his portrayal of the Joker here. Anyway, so back to the movie. There's a line quite early on that the Joker delivers, and he says, "Most people are only as good as the world allows them to be." And it sounds like one of those kind of cool throwaway lines, right? But as we stop and think about it, there's a lot of depth and there's a lot of truth to that. Because most of us, we pride ourselves on being, you know, upright, good, nice, moral people. You know, we always do the right thing. But what the Joker is saying is that really we have the luxury and the privilege of being nice. Excuse me. Because the world hasn't thrown some horrible things at us yet, right? So the only difference between us and a monster is our circumstance, is essentially what he's saying. And I think there's actually a lot of truth to that. When we look back through history and we look at the atrocities that have been done through history, all those atrocities have been done by human beings, right? They're people just like us. And it may hurt to hear that. It's like, no, they're not like us at all. Yeah, they're people just like us, but they're people that had different circumstances. So different circumstances of perhaps abuse and hardship, different circumstances of access to power and ability to actually play out their nightmare dreams. So there's something for us to keep in mind. I think that all of us who consider ourselves to be good citizens, we're really quite close to not being good citizens, and that's something to keep in mind. The Bible tells us, of course, that there are none righteous among us, right? Not even one. And it's true. Like, none of us are righteous, but some of us are more blessed than others. So we should recognize that. Anyway, so in this movie, the Joker seeks to destroy Arthur Dent. Now, Arthur Dent's a prosecutor. He's like the new hotshot prosecutor in town, and he's putting away bad guys left, right, and center. And he's the hero of the city, right? Because he's not afraid of the mob, and he's not afraid to lock people up, and you know, he's like tall and good looking, and you know, he's that whole sort of package, right? So everybody's pretty excited about Arthur Dent. And then Joker seeks to destroy him, to corrupt him. And it's interesting because, again, with biblical themes, this is the story of Cain and Abel being played out. We look at the Joker. The Joker was rejected. He was kind of twisted and disfigured. He was scarred. So he was this rejected figure, and he sees Arthur Dent as being this celebrated hero, and he doesn't seek to emulate him or to become like him or to raise himself up to that level. What he actually seeks is to rip that person down, which is exactly the story of Cain and Abel, that Cain's offering was rejected for whatever reason. Abel's offering was accepted, so Abel was the celebrated one, Cain was the rejected one. You know, bitterness and envy and malice seeps in, you know, because we're only as good as the world allows. And he seeks to just tear down that which is good, right? So not to become good like his brother, but just to tear him down. So we have this Cain and Abel echo playing out between these two. It's these antagonistic brothers. And the interesting thing too is that as we look at this as a mode of being, if that's how we actually want to be, it's a race to the bottom, essentially. That if each of us, in a healthy way, can compete with one another, so we look at one another and we try and attain that good that we see, society ratchets upwards. But if we simply slaughter that which is good, we actually find ourselves devolving, right? Like, it's not too long before we hit a Mad Max type scenario. So that this is essentially the dynamic that we're seeing being played out here. And it actually reveals something about the nature of evil too. Because evil seeks only to destroy. And a lot of times we look at criminal acts and bad acts, and we try and sort of justify it by saying, well, people are seeking good things through bad means. And to some degree, I mean, that has a ring of truth to it. But there's also an element of evil, though, that only seeks to destroy. And we have to accept that. The butler in the movie, he has a great line where he says, some people just want to watch the world burn. And ain't that the truth? And that's exactly what we see being played out with the Joker. And quite literally, too, as he sets off bombs. And he sets fire to this huge pile of money, which belongs to him and the mob. And just this sort of casual disregard for any kind of the values of society, right? It's like, I could do whatever I wanted with this money, but even the money doesn't mean anything to me, right? I only seek destruction and chaos. So that's kind of what's going on with the Joker. But what actually struck me most about the movie, and this is really what I wanted to talk about, was the ending. So in the end, Arthur Dent, this hero prosecutor, he actually goes mad. He gets filled with rage and bitterness because his girlfriend is killed, and he's also disfigured. And he ends up killing some people. Now, at this point in the movie, nobody really knows that he's done it because he's killed the people and there's no witnesses there, right? But the problem is that people find out the true nature of their hero, that in fact he's a bad killer, then it taints everything. I mean, it's much like today's cancel culture where, if you say or do something that's considered a sin, then everything that you do is automatically garbage. And so he's facing this same situation where if it's revealed that he turned into a murderer, then all of the convictions that he got, like all those mob people, they're going to be out of jail, back on the street. The hero is gone, hope is dashed, and the bad guys rule the city. So what ends up happening is that Batman basically says to the police commissioner, listen, hang it all on me. So just say that I'm the one who killed these people, and I'll be the bad guy. I'll be the bad guy for you. And that's quite a striking action. And essentially what he does is Batman becomes this Christ figure. He becomes the scapegoat. He becomes the sacrifice. And this is really kind of underscored by the one little boy who's kind of watching what's going on. And he says, "But he's done nothing wrong." As Batman basically takes off on his motorbike there. But he becomes this Christ archetype, right? That Christ is that one who takes on the sins that we can't bear. Because if those sins were actually laid at the feet of Arthur Dent, right, all hope is gone. Everything is done. Everything is undone, rather. So those sins have to go somewhere. Arthur can't bear them, so Batman does. He's like, I will be your anti-hero. I will be your bad guy for you. And so off he rides. And there's this interesting line about him being not the hero that we deserve, but the hero that we need. So there's this really strong Christ motif in there of the voluntarily taking on the sins of not just Arthur Dent, right? Because Arthur Dent is also bearing the sins of the entire city as the prosecutor. Like, he's trying to be morally responsible for righting all of these wrongs, which means he's taking on that responsibility. So the taking on the sins of the entire world is essentially what Batman does. So it's that Christ motif. and off he rides, to be pursued and to be hunted, right? So knowing full well that the full force of the law is going to come down on him, they're going to seek him out, arrest him, and execute him. So again, it's the Jesus story being played out, and of course the title itself is wonderful, right? The dark knight. So a knight is a champion, right? A stand-in, one who stands in for others. And of course, he's dark by voluntarily taking on all that darkness and sin. And that's really our call too, as individuals, that we are to voluntarily pick up the responsibility for the sins around us and bear them and try and make the world a better place for it. I'm just going to leave you, I guess, with that line out of the movie that he's not the hero we deserve, but he is the hero that we need, and that's our Christ.